Hey everybody, I'm Philip Lister, Engineering Manager with Scott Equipment, and today we have another Scott Equipment Company Automation Simplified video just for you. Hey, for those of you who did get the memo, Tolomatic rolled out a brand new online sizing software, much anticipated, with a lot of new features. So if you don't know how to find that, today we're going to show you how to get there and also show you some of the new features and benefits of this sizing software.
And one of the vendors that we like to work with a lot is Tolomatic. They have a wide variety of ball screw, roller screw, acme screw, actuators, and we use those for a variety of linear motion applications quite often if we're converting from air to electric. But one of the things that we use when we go to electric is their electric actuator sizing software. So we can find it here, and you can also find it right here. Either one of these will take you to that page. Now, I've already logged in because I'm on this page a lot. Otherwise, you would see a login screen where you would put in your login credentials to get here. But before I continue to show you some of the new features of the new sizing software, just in case you're wondering if you've already got a bunch of sizing application files stored in the pipeline of the classic sizing software, there are a variety of places once you come to the new sizing software where you will see Open Classic Sizing Software, which opens a new tab. You're going to see the old sizing software application screen along with your pipeline. So if you need to go back and revisit an application that you did for a prospective customer before the new software was being used, they're still here. I haven't found a way to port these over to the new sizing software, but at least this is a way to access those if you need to. I'm going to close this window, go back to our new sizing software. I can either open a project. For example, I can show you all of my projects I've worked on since I've been using the new sizing software. Here's all the projects Scott Equipment Company has done. Again, a place to go back to look at the classic sizing software. But I'm going to create a new application. And I'm just going to call this Scott Equipment Company Test for the purposes of this video we're shooting. I can call it anything here. In honor of my great friend Dave Lang, I'm going to call it Yabba Dabba Doo, because he said Yabba Dabba Doo a lot. I don't know why, but he did. So now we can actually dial in our actuator for this application. In most cases, I'm going to use rod or guided rod, but we do have some rodless we can pick from. I know this is going to be 100 millimeter, or we'll call it 12 inches. And what they've done here, which is smart, they're now letting you know you probably should add about 1 inch on each end just for over travel, so you don't hit a hard stop at the end of your 12-inch stroke, as I have in this case. So, but you can change this. You can make it nothing if you don't want those. But I'm going to leave it at 2. I'm in the habit of doing that just as a safety measure. Most of the ones I do are horizontal, although I do get into some vertical or some that are mounted at angles from time to time. If there's ingress protection, just like always on the front screen of the sizing software, you can pick here. In this case, I'm not going to worry about those. It already puts in my 12-inch stroke. Now, for some reason, I want to make the stroke shorter. I could, but I do know I want to use 12 inches. So just say I want to move that 12 inches in 1 second. And I know maybe at the end of that stroke, I'm going to dwell a few inches. We'll call that 3. And guess what? It's going to tell us, hey, in that case, out and back to return a total cycle is going to cost you about 8 seconds of your life. That's cool. So I'm going to put in a load name. Actually, I'm just going to leave it load. And the load, by the way, is what's actually the amount of payload attached to the thrust tube, as we call it, of the actuator. That thrust tube is what's actually connected to the ball nut or the roller nut, which whenever the screw turns, that nut moves fore and aft, right, from the end to the other. So we're going to call it just a 1 pound mass, maybe some fixturing, and we know maybe it's going to take 5 pounds of force as we extend in this case. And right now it's saying, hey, this force direction, is it both? Or is it just on the extender track? Well, in most cases, it's only going to be on the extend, so I'm going to check it for that. Now, here's one place that gets overlooked quite a bit, guys. I've reminded you before. I'm going to remind you again. If you presume you don't need to support the weight of that the payload, as it extends out. Keep in mind that if you don't support it somehow, especially in a horizontal application, gravity pulls down on that, and it pulls down more of it as it extends. So you're stressing that ball nut or that roller nut or that Acme nut. So if you don't select, guys, I'm going to leave this unchecked for now, and I'm going to go ahead and put like in the offset distance. I'm going to go ahead and just put in 2 inches for this D sub Z axis. I'm going to leave the other two 0 for now, and I'm going to click next. And it's thinking, and it's going to take us to the next screen where it should show us something like this. All right. So now it's going to tell us which actuators passed and which ones didn't. Now look, I'm a big fan of the ERD, and I don't think I'm alone, but look, 0 passing actuators for an application where you only have 5 pounds of force and 1 pound of payload. Well, guess what? The problem was we didn't check this box. So let's go ahead and check it now and click next again. Let this thing think for a second. Let's see if there's any new options from different actuator series that appear specifically under the ERD. And as we look at the ERD now, we see there are 5 passing actuators. So again, just stressing the importance of supporting the weight, especially in a horizontal application where gravity pulls down on whatever's attached to the end of that thrust tube that's attached to the nut. So let's open this, and it's telling us, okay, you got 3 passing ball screws, you got 2 passing Acme screws. Now I know that Acme screws are a little less expensive, but they also don't last quite as long. So I am concerned about longevity. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the 3 that we have here. And of the 3, it's telling me there's a ERD 15, a 20, and a 20. These are basically the diameter of the screw itself. This 10 is the lead of the ball nut in this case, right? So this has a 20 lead. So, you know, just looking at these, just giving myself enough safety margin. I'm pretty comfortable with 37% of the max speed, but I'm also looking at this ERD 20, which I know is not that much more. Same lead pitch of the screw, 500 pounds of potential thrust, and I've got way more speed. So if something happens and the payload increases or there's more force than necessary, then that's probably a better solution. So I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to click next. And it's telling me, hey, okay, well over here, we have, let me scroll up, I'm going to show you something else here. We can select between these 3. Now, if each one, I look over here to the right, it's telling me how much motor do we need to actually make this thing do this job. And you will see that things like the speed and the torque vary. So I can look at this and go, you know what, I'd like to be able to use a smaller stepper or servo motor. So certainly one of these that have smaller torque and speed requirements certainly help me. I'm thinking, just looking at these, I'm pretty comfortable with this one right here. So let's, no speed reduction, 1-to-1. Let's do that. And one more thing before I continue. So this threw me off at first. I saw English and metric, and this is one little bug they've got right now anyway. It doesn't change the units, but if you notice up here to the right, and this is why I scrolled up a second ago, if you click on the metric here versus English, you'll see that not only does it change the data over here in the motor profile, the motor specs that we need, also under the actuator itself, you will see it change from English to metric. So just one thing to make note of. Sometimes I'm working with English on one side, metric on another, having to mesh those up, and this just kind of eases that pain a little bit, which is really nice. So I'm going to leave it English for now. Click next. So we've selected the actuator for the application. We got the profile dialed in, the whole thing, the extender track, which is an improvement over the previous software where you had to do each of those sections, the profile once. So look, you have the option here using the Tolomatic ACS solutions, servo and stepper drive solutions, or you can do your motor here. I like using your motor here when I can, just because we have both JVL and Co-Morgan in our arsenal here at Scott Equipment. And what I want to do now is I've selected your motor for your motor here. I'm going to click next, and it should give me some options about what is available to me in the Tolomatic database for all these actuators. So here I'm going to select my vendor, and as I mentioned, I can look at all these potential vendors. If your customer has a spec, sometimes I'll see like Rockwell, no big surprise, or Siemens, again, no big surprise, and I can select from those. But here I can go to with either JVL or Cole Morgan. Now, I'm a big fan of Cole Morgan. They've got a wide variety of products. They do just really unusual things like excessive ingress protection, excessive temperatures. So here I'm going to select their AKM2G series, something new. It's asking me, okay, which one of those do you want? Well, I'm going to pick this AN suffix 2XX. I'm just picking this randomly. So again, here it's asking me, hey, what do you need? The stainless steel option. Do you need IP67 ingress protection, right? IP69K, which isn't available here. Do you need food grade? So quite often with Tolomatic actuators, since they also offer food grade actuators and IP67 as well as IP69K actuators, I might need to pick a motor that fits one of these. But for this case of the purpose of our exercise, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to click next. And here's what's cool, guys. Now it's showing me, here's my ERD. Here's the complete part number string. It's showing me a list price of this one. It's telling me everything I need, how much stroke length is, yada yada, yabba dabba doo. Here's my application data. Here's my computed outputs from this, showing me even things like my reflected inertia. And here's all my motor requirements. I can go to the Cole Morgan or the JVL or the Rockwell or the Siemens website, and I can pick exactly which motor and amplifier and cables I need to continue to solve this application so that you can offer your customer a complete turnkey solution. The actuator, the gearbox if necessary. Using the dual motor here, I can select from a variety of servo motors from a variety of manufacturers, along with the amplifiers that go with that and the appropriate power and feedback cables. So here, I can save this. I can actually input data like if I want to share this with someone else, I want to email that to them. This is a place to do that. If I want to print out the sizing report, get a CAD file, anything else, I can select these and I can print, download, or I can email these to myself, which is what I'm in the habit of doing, is just emailing them to myself. So I've got a record somewhere stored on a cloud, right?
Okay, that about does it. I hope you learned something. And if you have any questions about Tolomatic's brand new sizing software, reach out to one of your Scott Equipment Company account managers or somebody here on the tech team at Scott Equipment, and we'll be glad to help you out. Thank you.